Good evening and welcome to 6-1. The Minister for Health, Simon Harris, is seeking advice from the Attorney General on the constitutionality of a bill to allow termination of pregnancy in the case of fatal fetal abnormalities. The bill has been tabled by Independent TD Mick Wallace. It comes a day after the Independent Alliance, which forms part of the government, sought a free vote on the measure.
AAA People Before Profit launching a bill this morning to repeal the 8th Amendment. It will be introduced in the Dáil this week and debated in the autumn to coincide with the setting up of the Citizens' Assembly, which will look at the matter.
I think the key thing is that we do not put anything into the Constitution. That is absolutely critical. We have to delete the 8th Amendment.
Reflecting the political pressure on the government to address the issue, Independent for Change TD Mick Wallace has a bill in the Dáil next week allowing for terminations in the case of fatal fetal abnormalities. And now there's a question over how some independent ministers will vote on the matter. Yesterday, Junior Minister John Halligan told RTE that the Independent Alliance, made up of 5 deputies, 4 of whom are ministers, said they would be seeking a free vote on the issue. He added that he would vote the way he has always voted on the matter and support the bill. Today, his ministerial colleague, the Minister for Health, Simon Harris, set out the Fine Gael position.
I find the current situation in relation to fatal fetal abnormalities to be unacceptable. However, as Minister for Health, I'm duty bound to make sure that any changes introduced have a meaningful impact. Therefore, I've asked the Attorney General for advice on the constitutionality of the bill. I obviously can't support a bill if it's deemed not to be constitutional or not to make that meaningful impact. I'm awaiting that advice.
Fianna Fáil will allow deputies to vote by their conscience. However, a spokesperson said they believed the vast majority would oppose the bill as they believe it's unconstitutional. Others outside the political sphere say that's where the issue should be resolved.
What we need in this country is a proper and open debate on abortion. That's not something that should take place in the high pressure and pre-arranged system of a Citizens' Assembly.
What's very clear, though, that this issue is going to be debated in the political sphere for some time.
Let's cross over now to Martina Fitzgerald, who joins us from our Dáil studio. Where are we, Martina, on this free vote then? How's it breaking down?
Well, first of all, if we look at all the elements of the government, first we have to see really in terms of how they're going to vote. We'll have to wait and see what the legal advice is on the constitutionality of Mick Wallace's bill. But if we look at past bills, such as Claire Daly's bill last year on fatal fetal abnormalities, that was voted down by the government because of the advice of the Attorney General, who believed it was unconstitutional. And it is worth noting that while Fianna Fáil is allowing its deputies to vote by conscience on this bill, they also believe that the vast majority of the party will oppose the bill because they deem it to be unconstitutional. But back to the government benches, we don't want to preempt the advice, but if, for instance, if it came back and it was viewed to be unconstitutional, you would expect that the Fine Gael element of the government will vote against it. What then for the Independent Alliance? Well, we saw yesterday that John Halligan told us that basically they were seeking a free vote on this bill, and that came as a major shock and news to his Fine Gael colleagues, many of whom learned by tweet about this. But they are where they are at the moment, and the Junior Health Minister, Finnean McGrath, a member of the Independent Alliance, has said this evening that they have communicated to the Taoiseach that they are seeking a free vote on the matter, and that the Independent Alliance is going to meet later this week on the issue. So potentially we could have a scenario and potentially of some ministers voting against this bill and some potentially voting for it. But even within the Independent Alliance, there are varying views on this issue. But overall, I suppose we have to put this in context, and I suppose truly the traditional rule books have been torn up in relation to this administration, because after all, it is being propped up, or I suppose we should politically correctly say it is being facilitated by the main opposition party.
Very good. There we leave it. Martina, thank you.